Hi friends, we are back again to continue our topic with iron and steel industry, and we saw how interesting it is to learn about this iron and steel industry. When we see a lot of iron is there, when we go through this hardware shops, we'll see a lot of iron is heaped up in front of their shops, or when we see a building site, a lot of iron rods are used for making pillars, for concreting and so on. So we see everywhere in our own house, the doors, the windows, everywhere we can see the elements of iron and steel. That shows it has become so important in our human life. We need for anything and everything iron, to make tools, to make vehicles, to make other things, the furnitures, the ovens, and so on. Everything is manufactured with iron and steel. So it is so important. And the last class we saw how iron and steel, what are the inputs that are needed for this industry. We said the iron ore, the coal and the limestone. These are the three inputs together with the labor, the machinery, the building, the land and so on. Then we see the second part is the processing. The iron and steel, the iron ore, the coal and the limestone, they are put into a furnace called a blast furnace and heated up to a great extent, and they start melting, and then it is separated. The pure iron comes out through one way and the waste goes out through another way. That is the method of processing. And now let's see about the continuation after processing. What are they doing it? We can take page number 55. You see from the top. And steel is tough. We know steel is very tough, very strong. And it can easily be shaped, cut or made into wire. So on the one hand, we say it is very hard or very strong. So because of that strongness or strength, we can cut it and take it to make it any shape of it. So many things we see structure. It is made with iron and it is changed. It is because of its hardness. If you make and keep in one shape, it will remain there. It will not change. That is because it is very hard. Suppose if you make a structure with aluminium and so on, it will remain but very easy to bend again. But iron, if you make and keep a structure, it will not bend easily. It is very hard. So what are the purpose of this iron? It can be used to make different shapes, or it can be cut for different purposes, or it even can be made into wire. You can see a lot of iron wire we use for tying and so on. All that is made of iron. Then special alloys of steel can be made by adding small amounts of other metals such as aluminium, nickel and copper. So alloys means not pure metal, it is mixed with other metals. So in this iron, if you mix other elements or other metals like aluminium or nickel or copper, what happens? We can make a different type of different quality iron. So it depends on what alloy are we mixing in this iron ore or iron. So accordingly it will become harder. If you use a certain alloy, it will become soft. If you use some other alloy, it will become very hard. Let's see which one will make iron more hard and which one will make iron less hard. So alloys give steel unusual hardness, toughness and the ability to resist rust. So because of using this alloy, the quality of iron is changed. It becomes very hard. So if it is purely iron, it will not be that hard. But when it is mixed with alloy like aluminium or nickel or copper, the iron becomes very hard, and then it also will have great toughness. It will not be able to bend that easily. It will be very tough, and also it has got the ability to resist rust. If you keep iron outside, it will engage into chemical reaction with the atmosphere, with the air, with the oxygen and so on, and afterwards that iron will become rusty. But if it is mixed with alloy, then it will not get rusty that easily. It will be able to resist it. So these are the three advantages of mixing with alloy or making iron with alloy. What are they? First of all, it becomes very hard. Secondly, it becomes very tough. And thirdly, it is able to resist the rust. Iron will not get rust. It will be able to resist. So we can underline the advantages of making iron mixed with alloy. And which are the alloys that are used for mixing with iron? We said about three alloys: aluminium, nickel or copper. These are the three types of alloys that are used for making iron. Then steel is often called the backbone of modern industry. So you can underline that. Steel is often called the backbone of the modern industry. Everyone has got a backbone, isn't it? What is the purpose of your backbone? Do you feel there is a need for backbone? If you have no backbone, what will happen? You will not be able to stand straight. You will be always bending, isn't it? So it is the backbone that is supporting you to take different posture, to walk or to run or whatever you do. You are always standing straight or you are supported by your backbone. In the same way, the modern industry is supported by iron and steel. If this steel is not there, then this industry cannot survive. We can imagine there is no industry without machines. And so this iron is not there means that you can imagine there will be no machines. And without machine, which industry can function? We will be going back to centuries backward, and we will be doing that primitive methods of doing everything with the hand. So no iron means no machines, no industry and so on. Therefore we can say in the modern industry, the iron is compared to, or the steel is compared to its backbone. If no steel, then the industry cannot stand, industry will collapse. Then almost everything we use is either made of iron or steel, or has been made with tools and machinery of these metals. So whatever we use in this present situation, in this present world, it is made of iron or steel. So everything is made of iron and steel. So what about the furniture that we are sitting, the desk and beds? Is it made of iron? Or the dress that you wear, is it made of iron? So how can we say everything that we use is made of iron and steel? So in the furniture we will see at least some nails are there, that is made of iron, isn't it? And the tools that are used for making furniture, the chisels, the saw for cutting the wood, all that is made of iron. So even the things that we make, it is made using iron tools. Or the dress that you make, the machines are all made with iron. Therefore we can say we are completely depending on iron and steel. If it is not there, then our life will be going back to the primitive stage. We will not be able to live a modern life. So that is the situation. So ships are there, trains are there, trucks are there, and autos, other auto vehicles, bus and other things are there, and all are made largely of steel. So all these things, ships, train, vehicles, all these are made of iron. We don't find much vehicles with wood, isn't it? Even if it is made with like a tela and so on, it is made of wood, but some elements are there, iron there. The tire, the wheel will be of iron, a lot of nails will be used, all that. So there is at least some iron elements will be there in everything that we do, everything that we use. And even the safety pins, we use the pin for putting on the dress, is not safety pin. So that is made of steel. And the needle that we use for stitching our clothes, that is also made of steel. So we think about big factories where the machines are used of made of iron, but we also use the come down to our ordinary situation where we use needles, safety pins and so on. So everything from such a huge machine to such a small pin, everything is made of steel. Then oil wells are drilled with steel machinery. We speak about the oil. We have to mine out the oil and then we have to purify it. So how is it? It is in deep meters down, kilometers down under the earth. So how can we take out this oil? The oil, how can we take it out? With a bucket and rope, can we take it out? So huge machines are there going deep down into the earth to take out this oil. So if machines are not there, the oil supply will not be there and all our vehicles will not run. So again we are depending on the machines that are made with iron. And steel pipelines transport oil. So oil is transported from one place to another, just like water, it is going through the pipe. Steel pipes are made and through the pipe the oil is sent to another places. Then minerals are mined with steel equipment. So if you want to do the mining, not only the oil, we said about the oil, but even the other minerals that are under the earth, all that is done with machines made of iron. Then farm machines are mostly steel. So in order to work in the farm also we use a lot of machines like tractor, tiller, harvesting machine, threshing machine, all that is made of iron. And large buildings are steel framework, and we see if you go to the town and so we will see huge buildings are there and all that is not made with bricks and cement and so on. They use iron frame so that they can save the space. So the entire frame of the building also will be made with iron and so on. So people are slowly shifting to the use of iron. All the other old methods they are leaving it and using this new method by using iron and steel, making buildings, making machines, mining, making vehicles and so on. For everything they depend on this iron and steel industry. That's why we said it is the backbone of industry. If it is not there, all these industries will be closed down. And before 1800 AD, iron and steel industry was located where raw materials, power supply and running water were easily available. So we are talking about where this iron and steel industry is located. So now we are in 21st century. Some 18 centuries before 1800 AD. That means before the 18th century. Now we are already in the 21st century. That means some 200-300 years ago, most of these iron and steel industries, some 300 years ago, that is before 1800 AD, all these iron and steel industry, they were located in certain place where the raw materials are available. We already said what are the raw materials They are coal, iron ore and limestone. So where these things are available, they will make the industry also there. And also other things like power supply should be there. To heat up, they need a lot of power, and to function all the machines, they need power, and also they need a lot of water. So these are the raw materials that are required, and therefore wherever these facilities are there, they used to set up industry there. Then later, the ideal location for the industry was near coal fields and close to the canals and railways. So later, afterwards, people realized there are other suitable places are there for starting this iron and steel industry. Like we can start it where the coal is nearby, because coal is the main raw material that are required, that is required for this iron and steel production. And therefore, if you make industry near to this coal field, we can avoid transportation. If you make the industry very far away and the coal fields are again that side, then they have to carry all the coal and bring to the factory, and they have to spend a lot of money for transportation. So better to make the factory near to the coal field, so that they can save a lot of money. So that way people began to change the location. Then they were also looking for close to the canal. That means through the canal water will be there, and they can take the water from the canal. Otherwise they have to bring water again from far away. That would be expensive again. And another thing that they wanted was the presence of railway. Railway should be there near to the factory. Why railway is required? Because after producing they have to carry it to different places, isn't it? So if the railway is there, they can easily load it onto the railway and go. If the railway facility is not there, they have to carry by truck, and the truck cannot carry much. Railway means it can carry plenty. And if you carry by truck, little by little we can carry. Again you have to go and put in the train in the town, and so expense will be more. So those who are running industry, they are trying to produce things at a cheaper rate. So the cost should be cheap, cost should be less. Otherwise they will be spending a lot of money for production, and then at the end the price of the things also will be very high. So they can save a lot of money by establishing industry near to these places where facilities are available, and therefore they will be able to save a lot of money. So that is how the people are choosing the location where they want to start this iron and steel industry. Earlier we said they were starting industry where the raw materials, power supply and water are available. Now they are looking for a place where the coal is available, water is available, and the transportation facility, railway is available. So as the time is progressing, the people are also looking for different places, different locations where the priority is changing. Before, the people's priority was something, they were looking for a place where water and the raw materials are available. Now people are looking for a place where canals are there. Water may not be nearby. From the dam they can bring through canal. So if the canal is there, that is enough. Or railway is there, means they can carry all the things and so on. Then after 1950, so it came and we are in the 20th century, in the year 1950, iron and steel industry began to be located on large areas of flat land near seaports. So iron and steel industry after 1950, it began to change another locations. The people who started new industry, they began to look for a new place where the port facility is available. Port means seaport, where the ship can come to the close to the land. So such a place they were looking for, and they were looking for a big plot, not a small area. In order to start this, they need a big area because lot of activities are there. They need lot of factories, lot of buildings are there. Therefore, they need a large area, and the seaport should be nearby. Then why they are looking for seaport? Because we are not having sufficient raw materials like coal and iron ore and so on. So we have to import from other countries, and ship is the best way to transport these raw materials because they are too heavy, and if you bring by other means we have to pay a lot of money, but if you bring by ship then the expense becomes less. So that's why they are looking for a seaport, because most of them are importing the raw materials from other countries, because in India we don't have enough raw materials. So this is because by the time steel works had become very large, now plenty of steel works are going on there, therefore we need a lot of raw materials and we need to import from other countries the iron ore, the raw material iron ore we have to import from other countries. Then in India, iron and steel industry has developed taking advantage of raw materials, cheap labor, transport and market. So in India, people, in order to set up iron and steel industry, what are the things they look for? They look for the facility of availability of raw material, then the cheap labor. So people who are going to work in the factory, they should be willing to work for cheap rate. If they demand for high salary, then the owner will suffer loss. So people in India, people are ready to work for cheap labor. Then transport facility are there. Then the market facility also. After producing, they are able to sell it in the market. So all these facilities are there, and therefore Indian business people or Indian industrialists, they are planning to start this iron and steel industry in the place where raw materials are available, the people who are willing to work for a cheap labor, then transport facility and also market is available. Then all the important steel producing centers such as Bhilai, Durgapur, Burnpur, Jamshedpur, Rourkela, Bokaro are situated in a region that spread over 4 states. So we can underline which are the most important iron and steel industries in India. They are Bhilai, Durgapur, Burnpur, Jamshedpur, Rourkela, Bokaro. These are the iron and steel industries in India, and they are all located in just 4 states. They are not spread out all over India, but in 4 states like West Bengal, Jharkhand, Odisha and Chhattisgarh. So all these iron and steel industries are located in these 4 states. What is the reason? It is because we already said cheap labor, availability of raw materials. Because in these 4 states there is a lot of coal fields are there, so they are able to get raw material, and the people are willing to work for a cheap labor, and the transportation facility also is available. Because of all this, all the iron and steel industries are located in these 4 states like West Bengal, Jharkhand, Odisha and Chhattisgarh. Then other industries like Bhadravati and Vijayanagar in Karnataka. So 2 other steel industry, they are in Karnataka. 2 places called Bhadravati and Vijayanagar. Then Visakhapatnam in Andhra Pradesh. Andhra Pradesh also there is one iron and steel plant industry, that is in Visakhapatnam. Then Salem in Tamil Nadu. In Tamil Nadu there is Salem, in a place called Salem there is iron and steel industry. So these are the important iron and steel industries in our country. So we said the most important iron and steel industries are located in 4 states like West Bengal, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh and so on, because also the availability of raw material, cheap labor, availability of transport and markets and so on. Then apart from this, in the South India also we will find in Karnataka, Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh, one or two iron and steel industry. They are not much, they are not that big, but all the big ones are in the central area where the coal fields are there. That is the purpose why they have settled it there. So we shall wind up for today, and the next class we shall learn about Jamshedpur, one of the important centers of iron and steel industry. We shall see about it tomorrow. So thank you for listening. Have a nice day. Bye.